Let's just jump right in. Tonight, we're going to break down and explain a place you know all too well, but probably rarely talk about. We are taking a quiet look into your own drifting mind. You know, that mind that flat out refuses to let you sleep.
We all know the exact feeling. You're lying awake in the dark. The room is perfectly still. You're just starting to drift off to sleep, and then, out of nowhere, bam, it hits you. A sudden, sharp memory. You suddenly remember this awkward word you said hours ago, or honestly, maybe it was a weird joke you made at a wedding 12 years ago. You physically cringe, right? Your face gets hot, you clench your jaw, and your brain just flat out refuses to let it go.
It's funny how the timing works. At 5 p.m., the conversation ends. It was brief, totally harmless. By 10 p.m., the house is quiet, and the day's distractions are gone. And then, at 3 a.m., the replay begins. Psychologists actually call this post-event processing. See, this unsettling gap of time allows your subconscious to quietly boot up its error detection system. It's literally scanning the day for unresolved threats.
But here's the thing. There is a massive, massive gap between reality and your perception. We obsessively overestimate how much other people notice our mistakes. In your head right now, it's this high-definition, slow-motion movie of your awkward moment. But actual reality? It's a blank screen. They really don't remember. Our minds simply trick us into believing everyone is obsessing over our minor slip-ups.
Seriously, who is actually thinking about your embarrassing moment? Well, you. Almost entirely you. The slightly unsettling truth is that nobody else is losing sleep over your cringe moments, mostly because they're too busy obsessing over their own. Yet, even knowing this, your brain refuses to let you delete the files. So why? Well, it's because your brain isn't trying to torture you. It's actually trying to save you.
Which brings us to the social survival threat, an ancient alarm system running in your head. Your brain genuinely treats social rejection as a literal survival threat. And I mean literal. This isn't just a metaphor. Evolutionary biology shows us that, for our ancestors, belonging to the tribe was quite literally the only way to survive. Being embarrassed meant rejection. Rejection meant isolation. And isolation, that meant death. Your brain still operates by these exact same rules. It monitors social interactions obsessively.
Brain scans show us something that is, honestly, terrifyingly beautiful. Social pain and physical pain activate the exact same regions of your mind. The pain center lights up the exact same way whether you burn your hand on a hot stove or whether you wave at someone who, oops, wasn't actually waving at you. Your internal wiring processes the memory of a social mistake exactly like a physical injury. It creates a lasting burn. It wants you to remember that pain so you never ever make the mistake again.
What your brain is doing here is practicing priority encoding. Think about it, you probably can't remember what you ate for lunch last Tuesday, right? Your mind decided that information was useless, but that awkward, painful pause in the elevator? Yeah, your brain marked that as critical, life-saving data. It permanently burns the memory right into your background noise. It even stores it in multiple regions just for redundancy. Again, your brain thinks it's protecting you. But here is the major problem: 500. That is easily how many times you might have thought about that one embarrassing thing you did back in middle school. Every single time you lie in bed rehearsing a memory, you literally strengthen the neural pathway. You aren't just remembering it anymore, you are reliving it. You're burning it deeper and deeper into your mind. You accidentally train your brain that this file absolutely must stay open. Let's talk about reading the emotional weather, and where this replay loop actually learned its power.
There's a concept of the child who learned to read the weather. You see, this isn't some personality flaw. It's an old, deeply ingrained intelligence. For many of us, this hours-long mental rerun is just an old form of self-protection. It was learned way back in childhood environments where a sigh, a specific look, or maybe a paused text meant danger. Environments where love or peace felt strictly conditional.
If you grew up needing to predict the mood in the room just to feel safe, your subconscious developed a relentless habit. We call it the silent interrogation. Did I say something wrong? Did they take it badly? What should I do next time? You review the conversation over and over because you're desperately searching the memory for the exact moment the room's mood turned cold. You're basically trying to create certainty where certainty once felt impossible to get.
It makes you a tone specialist. You learned very early on that the official meaning of a sentence is rarely the real meaning. You learn to listen underneath the words. You notice when someone says fine, but their voice carries a subtle warning. So you soften yourself, you shrink down, you manage the emotions of everyone around you just to stay safe.
But today, right now, you're using an old map in a completely new place. The room you're in now might be perfectly safe. That coworker who didn't smile, they might just be tired. But the alarm system you're using to read this safe room was built for a much higher stakes past. You are bracing for an impact that just isn't coming. It's a completely exhausting mismatch.
So how do we fix this? Let's look at the unclosed file and finding the end of the memory.
I want you to notice something about your nighttime replays. They always freeze right at the exact moment of peak cringe, the stumble, the wrong name, that agonizing, awkward silence. You hit pause right when the emotional pain is highest. And because the memory is incomplete, your brain thinks the thread is still active. It keeps spinning the file, desperately looking for a resolution that you flat out refuse to give it. The trick is, you actually have to force the memory forward. When the cringe attacks, do not stop at the awkward silence. Walk your mind through exactly what happened next, the boring ending. You tripped, there was an awkward silence, and then you stood up, you walked to your car, you drove home, you ate dinner, you watched TV. You have to give the memory a mundane conclusion. And when you finally do that, you signal to your ancient error detection program that the event is actually over. We survived, threat resolved, file closed. The memory loses its emotional charge. It stops being an active threat. It just becomes this boring, ordinary thing that happened in the past.
Because the heavy truth is, sometimes the conversation ended hours ago, but your brain is still searching for reasons to feel ashamed.